Hey there, Steve Klein here for Images in Motion. And did you know that today is the 45th anniversary of Mount St. Helens eruption? It seems like it's all the talk on local radio stations.
Mount St. Helens erupted.
Mount St. Helens, a Washington state volcano, has been dormant for over a century, but today it erupted with smoke and ash.
This is the side of Mount St. Helens blowing out 45 years ago.
In this episode, I wanted to go over a memory that I have because I was there. Well, I wasn't there, but I was in Southeast Portland in a small suburban town of Milwaukee, Oregon, when the eruption happened. And let me tell you, it was explosive. It sounded like thunder, actually. And the sound of it was heard 150 miles away. Yes, that's right. I mean, can you imagine the power of this volcano erupting near us? Now, luckily for us, the ash plume went east of us, but we still got saturated with a little bit of a dusting all over town, and people were sweeping it up. People end up making like ashtrays out of the stuff. You know, it was really interesting. There was a lot of things that they said it was kind of bad, or, you know, to breathe it in, it could be toxic. But here's the cool thing. When it was erupting, I'm like, gosh, I'd love to be able to see it because I heard it. It was all over the news. And it was interesting because everything leading up to it, I thought as a kid, it was like 6 months, a year. No, it was only like a few months. By the time it started originally erupting and started having earthquakes to the time where it erupted, full on exploded, was around, I think it started in March, April, and then May it blew up. It blew its top. And it did some eruptions after that as well, as it was building up the dome a little bit more. It never was the same as it was in the past. But my point is, I wanted to find a location that I could view it, and I found one. I remembered as a kid, I went to a park in Southeast Portland called Oaks Park. It's a historic park, and it had a Ferris wheel. And I remember, I was like, hey, Dad, we could go to Oaks Park. I remember I could see the Mount St. Helens from the Ferris wheel. And so he said, sure. So we went down there, and sure enough, I went on, as we went onto the Ferris wheel, it's very slow. It goes all the way up around, all the way around. As I got to the top, I could see it as clear as day. I could see the eruption. The only problem, I didn't bring my camera, and my dad wasn't about to go back. He was one of those guys that, hey, if you guys forgot something, that's too bad. And I'm not going to waste gas going back and forth, So I was like, but with the power of AI, we could recreate this scene, and I'm going to do the best I can. I mean, I can't really replicate it exactly, but hopefully we can get an idea of what it might have been like for me on that Ferris wheel that day, clear back on 1980, May 18th, 1980. Now, I just do want to give a caveat here that the overall destruction of this was devastating, and there was lives lost. It could have been worse because, well, some people decided to stay on the mountain. Some people were researchers that got caught up in it. But for the most part, they evacuated the whole mountain, which was great. I mean, there could have been thousands of people, but they evacuated, and thank goodness they did, because it was just devastating. But they did have a lot of destruction, and then they thought life wasn't going to be coming back to that area for a while. But sure enough, before they knew it, sprouts of leaves, trees start sprouting up, and wildlife returned. But it took several years to happen. But like I said, we're 45 years off on it. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what I created here. Let me go find it here. Okay, so I wanted to ask it, are you familiar with Oaks Park? And of course, then, it said, sure, I know what the Oaks Park is. And it gave all the pictures of Oaks Park and how it was established in 1905 and all of these different pictures of it. And there's the Ferris wheel right there, so you can see that. And I was like, okay, well, yeah, that's great. But I want to know, do you have any photos of Mount St. Helens that I can be seen from the Ferris wheel? It says, while Oaks Park Ferris wheel offers scenic views of downtown Portland and the Willamette River, there isn't any specific information confirming that Mount St. Helens is visible from the ride. However, in exceptionally clear day, it's possible that distant peaks like Mount St. Helens might be visible from that vantage point. Okay, well, I know for sure that it was because, like I said, I was there and I saw Mount St. Helens erupting full on. Like the other thing I didn't explain is when I was up on this Ferris wheel, I could see the column going up, and it was just really reminiscent of the news broadcasts that were showing that column going up. And then I saw it. It was long distance away. Obviously, it's about 50 miles away from Portland as the crow flies. I think that's right. About 50 miles. Might be longer. I know Mount Hood is around 50 miles, but maybe Mount St. Helens might be a little bit farther. But so then it gives me. I said, can you give me that? Can you give me an image of Mount St. Helens erupting from that vantage point of Oaks Park? So it says, while there's numerous photographs in 1980, I couldn't locate one from Oaks Park, which is really bad because could you imagine if I brought my camera that day? I would have like historic footage, let me tell you. So then I said, well, can you just create one for me? This is what I really wanted it to do. So, and here's what it came up with. There it is. It's not too bad. So just to let you know, this Mount St. Helens, it looks closer here. It's not that close to Portland. I was really kind of impressed. It does look like that could be the Portland, like the U.S. Bank Tower in downtown. And this looks like it could be the Portland building, which is like more like a orangish, pinkish building. And this eruption plume, this is really close to what it looked like. it looked like a bomb went off. That was just like, wow, it was crazy. But this Ferris wheel is nowhere near what the Ferris wheel in Oaks Park is. I don't know if I can give you a picture of it, but it's more like the traditional 2-seater Ferris wheel. So this is kind of off, and actually Mount St. Helens would be over here. I don't see my finger over in this area here. Plus, this is a vertical picture. So yeah, so that wasn't it. So I asked it. I said, could you? The Ferris wheel, it was more like this. This is the actual Ferris wheel here. So I gave it some screen snippets of what the Ferris wheel looked like. That's right. That's it right there. See how it goes right above the trees? I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, like that. See that? So that's what I wanted it to do. And so I asked if it could redo it, but then it came up with, it looks like more of the same. Whatever this is, I don't know what these are. And then they also put a street here. So there is a freeway. There's a I-5 comes right by Portland, but on this side, if any of you are from this area, you know that there's no road right here really at Oaks Park. It's just the river. So people going down the river can see the park from the river, but you can't see, there's no freeway until you get towards Portland. And then there's a freeway across there. So a little bit off. And then, so I said, well, so I started trying to describe the park a little bit more. And it says, the eruption looks great. The rivers you are seeing below the Willamette Valley. What I need to change is the mountain location. The park, it was over from the park. The mountain of Mount St. Helens is more to the right of the river. And so then when I try to do that, it's still, it actually made it worse because it actually got a lot more green here. And really Oaks Park is, even though it's green on this side, it's more brown on that side because of there's more buildings. Let me put it that way. So anyway, so this is it. And that plume right there, that is how I remember it. It was pretty wild, but this is closer. I should say this is closer than it really was. This mountain was like this is like, if I could put like twice as far away, then it would make more sense and it would look more to what I saw when I was a kid. But that is just crazy. It's just crazy that this AI model could render this, at least give me somewhat close to what I saw. And like I said, I wish I would have had my camera, because if I did, I would have got a really cool picture that I could have enhanced later. But anyway, well, I hope you like that video. I hope you like this memory of mine. Now, if you want to see a video that I took of the June 12th eruption, yes, you heard me right, June 12th of 1980, because after this one, we had about 5 or 6 more eruptions, major ones. There was another one after this on May 25th. And then there was another one on June 12th. And I just happened to be flying from Portland to Seattle on my way to Hawaii for the first time. And so I got some 24 frames per second footage of that on my old silent camera. And if you're interested in looking at that restoration that I did for that one, click over here. Go ahead, click it. It's going to be cool. And it might not be there right yet, because it may not be here when you see it. Might be there later. So check it out. Come back, subscribe so you can see when it's there. Subscribe and you'll see it when it's ready.